Guys, I've said before, can we please clone Victoria Derbyshire, because she's a wonderful journalist and we need more like her. So she was holding Zia Yusuf, the unelected bureaucrat's feet to the fire on the issue of austerity. Now listen here, she raised the point a number of times and he tried to dodge, but have a listen to who's going to be at the sharp end of this austerity.
Actually suggesting that there won't be any pain with this kind of austerity when it comes to public services.
We are talking about reducing the size of the state in order that we can allow people to keep more of the money that they earn. We are going to champion the people who set their alarm clocks in the evening before they go to bed and rise early to go to work.
What I'm actually asking you is a different thing. Are you telling voters there will be no pain with Reform UK's austerity?
No, I don't think that's a reasonable reflection of what we're saying. But what we are saying, first and foremost...
So who will feel the pain?
Well, again, let's start with foreign nationals. It is unacceptable.
So no British citizens.
It is unacceptable.
No
it
British
is unacceptable.
citizens.
It is unacceptable that foreign nationals are able to claim universal credit, they're able to claim disability payments, they're able to get social housing. The majority of social housing in London,
I understand,
goes to foreign nationals.
I just want to be clear.
This is unknown in any other country in the world.
I understand. Are you saying no British citizens will feel any pain from Reform UK's austerity?
Well, our message to the British people, Victoria, is this: we are closing in on £3 trillion of national debt.
Please, could you answer my question?
Well,
are you saying no British people will feel
Victoria,
pain from
we are on the
Reform's
side of the
austerity?
people who set their alarm clocks before they go to bed and rise
that
early in the
mean?
morning.
What does that even
people
mean?
Who work, Victoria, and people who, I think, quite rightly look at the size of the state and look at how their taxpayer money is spent, where they don't feel safe, where the NHS is not there when they need it.
It sounds like you're saying if you're British and you set your alarm clock, you will not be affected by Reform UK's cuts.
Yeah, that's a reasonable reflection.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm glad we've finally got there. We've got that.
So we can put it on we can hold this guy to account. We can put it on one side so that we can use it in the future, that whenever Nigel Farage comes out and says, hey, we have to impose these restrictions on people, we have to cut the size of the state, and we have to punish people, we have to make people poorer, we have to bring up this clip where Zia Yusuf said, no, British people will not suffer the consequences of austerity. Now, you notice here he didn't push back on the word austerity. So Reform UK are embracing the concept. Notice he also talked about people setting their alarm clocks or something. Like, this is like the Tories once again, get Brexit done or stop the boats, set your alarm clock. It's all pointless slogans and metaphors that are disconnected from the reality that people live in. Now, he mentioned here the only people who will suffer the consequences of their austerity will be foreign nationals. But we know that foreign nationals, many of them who are on universal credit, are because they're not earning enough to get by. He mentioned social housing. Why are so many foreign nationals in social housing? Because they're not earning enough money, they're not making enough in their salaries to afford any other type of housing. That's the reality of the situation. We're talking about the poorest people in society relying on support from the state, relying on social housing because they can't afford anything else, because they're doing the lowest paid work, because British people can't or don't want to do these jobs. So they're being filled by foreign nationals. The foreign nationals not earning sufficient wages to afford any other type of housing or to get by on their own, so they're getting some support from the state. That's the reality of the situation. You can complain about it, but you can't do anything. You can't say that it's not true or it shouldn't be happening, because that's the reality. Now, this idea that British people will not suffer the consequences of austerity is insane, because austerity is about reducing the size of the state. It's about cutting public services. So people who set their alarm clocks and people who get up and work every day, people who are British citizens, they still need to rely on public services like the NHS. Do Reform UK supporters and voters believe there is a world where the NHS will refuse to treat people based on their passport? We say, well, you don't have a British passport, then we're not going to treat you because Nigel Farage is Prime Minister now and we're only going to look after British people because we have reduced the size of the NHS and we don't have enough money to look after non-British nationals. Foreign nationals. Is that the reality that the people want to live in? Do they actually think that can function? What about people who are foreign nationals but are working in the NHS? Do they get to access the NHS as well? What about people who work in other public sector, the other parts of the public sector who are foreign nationals? Do they actually get to access those public services? Or they can't because they may set their alarm clock but they're not a British citizen? What if you are a British citizen but you don't set your alarm clock? Because you can't find work or because you're unable to work? Are you thrown on the scrap heap? Well, according to Reform UK, yes. This is what they're selling. They're selling austerity now, without any embarrassment connected to that. The Tories imposed austerity for a number of years and it resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths. Reform UK want to do the same again. Why? Because they're basically a rehash of the Conservative Party. They want to inflict austerity, other types of tax cuts. They want to do exactly what the Conservatives were doing before. And they don't care about the consequences because they're a party of the rich for the rich. They will sell the working class concepts such as will bring down immigration, that will give you a job or increase your quality of life. You'll have more housing available. But they don't really care about that. They don't actually believe it themselves. It's just about selling something in order to convince somebody to vote for them. And unfortunately, it's looking more and more likely many people will vote for reform because they're not happy with the status quo. They're not happy with the Tories and they're not happy with Labour. So Farage will get in by default, not because so many people agree with him, but because people are tired of the current situation. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.